Hi, and welcome to a very unexpected review. This is just going to be a quick first impressions review of the Arkane games titled The Last Federation. Now, in view of transparency, I was given this copy of this game by Arkane Games themselves, and with the message that they felt that my viewers and myself might enjoy this. So, first of all, I have to say that having played a little of it, as you can see, it says I have 4 campaigns. I actually don't. I have about 20 minutes of one campaign, and that's it. But so far, I have to say, yes, I am enjoying it. But where to get started with explaining what this game is about? I figure we'll start with the settings. It's everything you'd expect from a 2D top-down tactical strategic simulation. So you have basic game controls, very basic game controls, nothing more or less than is needed. Graphics, again, nothing more or less than is needed. Audio, you guessed it. And one thing here that I applaud Arkane Games to the high heavens for including, and it's something that should be an automatic inclusion in any modern game, and that is the ability to choose where your goddamn save games go. Seriously. If you're like me, you back up your saves religiously, and sometimes finding where they are can be a grade A pain in the ass. This puts that away. No problems. So yes, thank you Arkane Games for actually having some common sense. Next, let's start with the story. Just go with that because that's fine. Basically, this is you. That's right, you are a 4-headed space hydra who is forever looking over her shoulders for the sight of a classical Greek warrior with a lion's skin over him as armor. By the way, he's armed with a goddamn club. But in all seriousness, this is you. Basically, your species were dictators in a solar system, and in response to that, 2 races managed to literally destroy your world. And by literally, I mean they threw a goddamn moon at us. Yeah, it's a good idea to look at the sky and make sure the moon isn't getting bigger sometimes, because who knows, maybe, I don't know, some random group of people have decided to strap rockets to it and fire it at your planet. Hey, these things happen. So after that, it turns out that your character, who is that person in that hydral in the painting, well, it turns out that you're the last. You were on a covert mission. I'm not quite sure how a hydra goes on a covert mission, but leaving that aside, you were on a covert mission and you were captured in inverted commas, and you spent the intervening years between then and now kind of waiting for the race that captured you to develop manned spaceflight. Why? So you could steal their ship. Why? Because it is your goal, your hope, to form a federation. Unless you're playing the last tech add-on to this, which is all about stopping them from federating. Yeah, it's a little confusing. Now, I will say this, there is a weird thing in the story in that apparently you bomb anyone. Your race used to kill and destroy anything that developed manned spaceflight. So that does leave the question, how exactly did they manage to crash a moon into your world? Well, I have a theory on that. The story does specifically say manned spaceflight. I reckon they just strapped some drones onto the goddamn moon and dropped it on your world. There we go, bish bash bosh, job done. Response to that being vengeance weapons, because that's what dictators always do. They swear vengeance, and yeah, end result, badness happens, decades of lost progress, a dark age. Who knows, maybe they even ended up with Jedward as leaders for a while, and well, we all know how that ends. Never forget, people. Never forget. Anyway, that's basically the story. So how does this game actually play? Well, first of all, the controls are simple and very easy to understand. You have mouse control, page up and page down if you don't have a scroll wheel to scroll in and scroll out, And these are your enemies. If you hover over your enemy, it will tell you in the first slot that the minigun will do the most damage. The second slot is the grav lance, that will do the most damage, and the third is an energy blaster. Yes, this game uses rock, paper, scissors logic, and you know something? It works. It's simple, it's easy, it makes sense. Now you control your ship with this thingy, and by holding shift you can click, click and click and set out a really specific course for your ship to follow. After that, you choose between auto fire, fire at selected ships, fire at exact point, or hold fire. Select the weapon you want to fire, click anywhere, and it'll do what you're doing. So, like, say if I want to fire at this ship in specific, basically I'm after giving up from the surface, and I've decided screw this particular guy. Seriously, I don't know what he did. Maybe he peed in my porridge. I don't care, but screw this guy in particular. So I click on him, and that particular guy is now dead. By holding shift when you click, you can chart a very defined course for your ship. Alternatively, you can just move the mouse around and you get this really cool whiplash tail, which is awesome. So we're going to do that, and this time we're going to say screw this guy in particular. He's dead. And that was the end of that. That is basically how combat works, and it's simple, it's enjoyable, it's fun. And when you get a large number of ships on the screen, it can be pretty bloody chaotic. Which brings us to this area of the game. Actually, very quickly before I leave the last area, I must point out that it is turn-based, but everyone takes their turn at the same time. So it's like the computer decides what it's going to do, I decide what I'm going to do, and then we both do it at the same time. It does make for some very frantic gameplay and really fun gameplay. Next, okay, so we're in the political sphere. This is our homeworld, by the way, or what's left of it. And this looks quite confusing, but it isn't. And I'll tell you why. So, for example, each of these worlds represents the home world of a particular species in this system. Now, I applaud Arkan for their optimism in just how many intelligent life forms can exist in a single solar system. But you know what? I'm happy to be playing a game that has a smaller tapestry to happen on, or a smaller game board than what would normally happen, which is, oh, this is a galaxy and there are X number of aliens fight over the galaxy. I'm so glad they didn't do that. Making it into a small area where everyone is within easy reach of each other, it adds a layer of, I suppose, tension to the game, which is quite pleasant. Okay, so what do these numbers mean? Well, this is how they feel about you. As you can see, these guys, who are the Acutians, they really don't like me at all. -102. This is basically how compatible the inhabitants of the of the planet are with their environment. This will decide how quickly they develop technology, how efficient their technology is, how quickly they breed, which lends itself to how many ground troops they have, as well as how many troops they have available for space. Now, next you have, this is the total population, 67 million. Cool. Now, as you can see, I don't have all of those pieces of information for all of the races. That is because I don't have any influence or experience with those races. Also, they haven't achieved spaceflight yet. However, the Ivuk are about to. They're at 11 seconds away. Now, this leaves me with a choice. If I help them, I get a big boost to my influence. I'll actually probably end up liked, and if not, actually trusted. And that will give me certain advantages in the game. Having someone on your side is a good thing. You never want to try and bring peace and justice to a solar system one laser blast at a time without someone at your back. If you do that, eventually you'll die. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this, and we're going to show the next most interesting part of this game. So we're feeling friendly, and we're going to do some really nice stuff. We're going to first of all hire a diplomat, which is done. Cool. and diplomats will help you when you have more contact with this race to develop your relationship with them. We're also, despite the fact that they are only 11 seconds away from developing it, giving them spacefaring tech. Now, spacefaring tech is the second aspect of this top-down system. Again, we have broadly the same controls, but there is a slight difference. This here is a probe, it's a spy probe, and it will fire out lots and lots and lots and lots of these small little search shots, like little drones is the way I think of them. And those drones will look for people interfering in the affairs of this system. I'm going to set this to hold fire and we're going to click it. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to reach here, and it's going to be absolutely no problem whatsoever because really they have absolutely no hope of stopping me because, well, look, there's nothing around. So we're going to move over, move on, and we're going to get in here. Those are the drones I'm talking about, and as you can see, it's coming from that one. Now, if this had fired in a slightly more conventional way and had ended up with those going over here, when those touches me, I lose a certain amount of influence with that particular race. But considering these are the Yakutians and they hate me, I'm not really worried about that. So we're going to click in here and we're done. Hooray! The Ivuk are now spacefaring. Just listen.
The Evox are now spacefaring. Extreme caution is advised. They are not aggressive, but are incredibly dangerous when cornered. These are the same beings who wiped out most of your population with mysterious technology.
Yeah, see, that's part of this game, and I suspect it's a part of the game that I haven't really explored yet, which is just how did they succeed in doing this? How? How did they wipe out my population? Anyway, so that's basically that section of the game. It's really cool. It's very interesting in how it's done. And suddenly we have access to more stuff, which is their armadas, their ground troops, etc. Cool. Now, I can do what I just did for all of these races, apart from that race because they're already in space. And that race because I just uplifted them. Great. What's next? Well, what if I told you that there were other ways you can influence these people? And, well, here they are. We can do things like trade deals. We can do military contracts for them. We can create federation deals. Like, look, if I click on the federation deal, there are none because we aren't reached that point yet. Doesn't matter. Things will get there. Basically, this is a game of two halves. One half is that tactical top-down shooter type game, which, by the way, turns into a bullet hell game eventually as well, which is quite really cool. But here we have the other half, and the other half is, I would describe it as a political sim, because actually that's the most accurate description for it. It's all about influence. It's about influencing the races rather than actually grabbing them by a joystick and directing them where you want them to go. If you try to do that, you're going to get frustrated very quickly. It's very obvious, even from the little bit that I've played of this game, that is not an option. You don't get to do that. Instead, we can go to friendly acts, for example, and we can do something like assist in armada construction. That will gain us credits, but it will also mean that we increase their capabilities, their strength. As you can see, their ships are getting more and more common, and their armada now outstrips the armada of the Yakutians. Now, I suspect that there is a way to do this game where you literally use these to wipe out the rest of these. I haven't got to it yet. As I said, this is a quick, dirty first impressions review. That's the gameplay in a nutshell. It's what I would describe as the political side of it is what I would describe as an XCOM Apocalypse style pause-based game where you move time forward in bursts, you pause it, you make your next decision, you see what that brings you, how you influence the different factions, move forward a bit further. Did it work for you? If not, how do you fix it? That's basically what this is about. You've seen what the top-down tactical section is about. Both are fun, but I haven't gotten deep enough into this to be really sure just how fun or how in-depth it goes. I suspect it goes very, very deep. Now, one thing that is missing from here, because I haven't opened it in this particular campaign yet, is the tech tree. Technology is kind of weird in this game. Now, I have reached a point with the first playthrough I did where the black market opened, and the black market allows you to study and research what you want to research. However, if you use one of the races, research does go faster, but you don't get to choose what they research. They will research based on their species, but also based on their own agenda. This makes technology and technological advancement quite fraught and quite interesting, and I imagine it's going to be a huge source of frustration in the future. What do I have to say about the graphics and the gameplay? The graphics and the audio, I should say. Graphically, it is everything a game like this should be. It's clear, it's simple to look at, it's simple to understand. Everything is as it should be. Say, for example, if I go here, whatever, and I look in, you can see that the artwork is quite beautiful. I mean, this is my favorite piece of artwork that I've seen so far in the game, and it is very, very consistent with the artwork in the game. It's beautifully drawn, its color is gorgeous, the way it's laid out is beautiful, it just works. And it's this kind of thing that you need in a game like this, because it breaks up the monotony of staring at a screen full with planets and stars. Yay. Audio. The in-game sound effects aren't anything spectacular. They're pretty standard clicks and bells and whistles. Fine. What isn't standard is the music. Holy crap, this game has music. Some of it is quite chilled and relaxed, and I could quite happily lay back and listen to it while playing something really relaxed. But there's a couple of pieces, especially one of the combat themes, that honestly has me on the verge of headbanging when I listen to it. It is that good. Seriously, I mean, is the composer for this company, is he part Metalhead? Because damn, it's really good. So as I said, like the gameplay bells and tweaks and whistles are pretty standard. The music is, to my mind, above average. And that's pretty much it for today. I mean, there isn't a lot more I can talk about with this game, simply because there isn't a lot more to this game that I've actually explored yet. And now we get to the plans, because I did just say yes. This week, this is what we're getting. We're getting a short first impressions review. Next week, we start Let's Play. Now, I'm not going to promise I will play a full campaign. I will definitely do 2 episodes, and after those 2 episodes, I'm going to do a more in-depth review, where I will kind of go through things in a bit more detail, because I'll understand the game better and I'll know what I've actually gotten myself into. But after that, there is a chance that I will continue the Let's Play. I'll continue the Let's Play if my viewers are interested in it, and I'll continue, or if I myself am completely engrossed in it, or both. I'm kind of suspecting it could be both, because this is one of those games where I could end up slamming my head off of the desk a lot due to my making stupid mistakes. But anyway, yes, for today, that's it. Do I have a suggestion as to whether you should get this or not? If you like political and tactical sims, yeah, I think so. Even just based off of what I've seen so far, I would absolutely say get this. It's not going to light up your life by any means, but it is definitely going to entertain you for a few hours. It has some very interesting ideas. The tactical combat system is really fun, and it does really make you stop and think, if I do this move, what's going to happen when they make their move. It is really interesting from that point of view. The political side of it, the political sim of it, I haven't got into it in enough detail yet to know for sure one way or another, but my sense so far is that it is quite deep. As you can see, I haven't unlocked everything by any stretch of the imagination. and my having not unlocked it, I can't be certain, but I do suspect there's an awful lot more depth to this game than I'm aware of, and if you're into Sims, you're probably going to really enjoy that. So again, I'd like to thank Arkham Games for this copy of their game. I hugely appreciate it, and to my viewers, I hope you enjoyed this. As I said, there will be more of it next Saturday and the following Saturday, and then we'll do a proper review and get into the nitty gritty of it. Right now, on first impressions, I'm definitely saying that this is going to be interesting and fun. Definitely fun. So yeah, I think we'll leave it there. I have to go and take 2 dogs for a walk. Yay! Someone drop a moon on this planet, please. I don't want to walk them in this weather. Anyway, I will talk to you all again soon. Have a great day, and bye for now.